Hey YouTube, it's Audrey, and I'm here to try and give you an idea of how I made this screen card. I used this as my project for the Cutting Cafe the last time we did a post, and I've had a few requests to do a tutorial. And whereas this will not be like a full-blown tutorial, I did kind of want to share what I did. Now with this particular card for the dress form, I used the Fun with Dress Forms file from the Cutting Cafe, but the screen part of this card was a silhouette file that I found, and it is called the Fall Decor Screen, and it actually had letters FALL in the card. And what I did was I took it and I took the A and I repeated the A because it was the easiest to cut out the letter, just giving you the shape. So the A's were had the tab, so the A's were all connected, and then the last one was an L, and because it didn't have the connector tab because it's the last panel, so I just again cut out with my X-Acto knife here, along the side here, and then along the bottom, so that I would end up with pieces like this that have no letters. So I thought of ways that you could possibly do this without that file. If you don't have a Cameo, you could easily just accordion fold a piece of paper, and this is just an example, not the size or anything, but that would give you the same kind of idea as a screen. Or you could make separate panels and add a tab, but then you could just do something as simple as marking it out and cutting out, like for the feet, like here. And then I'm just doing this on the fly, but just to kind of give people an idea, if you don't have a Cameo, this can still be done. So you can cut it out like that, a little more accurately, of course. And then if you wanted to curve the top, you could easily do that. And that's really not straight, but you get the gist of what I'm trying to do here. So you could trace it a little bit more, and you would have your panel here, and then you could either freehand this out, or you could use a punch, or you could use something like a die. Like I know Tim Holtz has, I think, window dies or arches that are movers and shakers that you could cut the center out of. So just because you don't have one, you could be creative and make your own kind of screen card. So that's just a tip for those who might need that and, you know, want to do it without the machine. So basically what I did was, after I cut out the sections, I actually on my computer screen flipped the section over and cut it out so that I would have a second piece. And I don't know if I really had to do that. I probably could have just cut it out twice, but sometimes they're just a little bit off if you don't flip them. So I took pieces of vellum and I just measured from here to here and across. So took cut pieces of vellum so that they would fit over this, just enough to glue it on. So with my first panel, I've already done that, and I glued with just quick dry because I am going to end up putting the second panel over the back to cover it. Okay, so I cut it just a little bit because this piece also had this connector tab. So what I did was I just cut it just a little bit. I mean, I cut an extra little sliver just so it would fit and be just on the other side of that fold line. Not sure if you could see what I'm talking about, but there's the dotted line there that I would connect it with, because you don't want to have something that's blocking that connecting piece here to have it fold. So that's how I did that. So the second piece has the dress form. And what I did was I cut out dress forms and then I glued 2 back to back. You could avoid having to do that by just using double-sided paper, but since I'm really wanted to use this paper and it was white on the back, I used double-sided paper. Or if you don't care on the back side of the screen, then you could just have it white. But I took and I actually put that in between 2 pieces of paper, 2 pieces of vellum. So basically I glued, hopefully I'm not confusing you. So basically I took a piece of vellum, I glued it down, I put some vellum adhesive, and I've had this a long time, but it's by Scrapbook Adhesives, but it's an easy runner for vellum, and it actually works. You can't really tell it. So you put some of that on there, stick it down, and then you take another piece of vellum and you glue it so it's in between. So it kind of gives it that shadowy effect. So that's what I did with that one. So basically, you take your first screen and you put your second screen on there with the vellum. So you have the plain one. See, my first one here was plain, and then 2 have the dress form in between the vellum, and then the last one is plain, and then I stuck the dress forms on top. And this one I used some dimensionals to pop it up. So basically you take your first one and you can use glue, you can use the tape runner, but on that piece that folds you put adhesive on it. You can also use, of course, sticky tape if you want. So put my tape runner on there, and it probably would have helped if I had folded it first, but anyway. So I got my tape on there, and then you just stick this side to this side, and I would make sure that I leave just enough space so that you are not on the fold. But just on the other side of the fold. And you tape it down. And so you have hinged together. So I would hinge them together first, and then take your back piece and glue it on top. That way you're covering the hinges. Otherwise, you see the hinges. And I really didn't think about that the first time that I did it, because if you could see on the card, I didn't think about that, and you could see the hinges, which is okay. But if you want it more finished, you glue the hinges together first, and then you put the piece on there. Because what I did at first was I did each individual piece first, and then I hinged them together. So you would hinge them together first, and then take your back piece and glue it over each section. So you would have a back piece for each section. And that way it would look nice and finished. So then you would just continue and do the same thing, and you would have a finished card. And then you could decorate it however you want to. Like here, I took this additional piece, I pop dotted it up. Sorry about that. And then I just decorated the card with the different foils. So hopefully that will give you an idea of how to put this card together. Like I said, I didn't want to do a full tutorial, but I wanted to at least give instructions. And then, as I said, you could decorate the card any way you want. I used Bling on a Roll here from Michaels. So that's what I used up there. And then I just added some additional pearls and flowers. And then these stickers here are Dazzle stickers. So, well, actually they're not Dazzle brand. These are Paper Studio brand, but they're a form of the Dazzle stickers. You just peel them off and stick them on there. So hopefully that helps all of you who wanted to know how I did the card. So thank you so much for watching, and you have a great and very, very blessed day. Bye-bye.